Hello, and welcome back to Matteo Fratio. Today, I'm going to be telling a little story about a terrible camping trip that I had recently. Well, it's not the worst camping trip I've ever had. I sprained my ankle once. But this was a series of unfortunate events like the show and books. So, let's just get right on into it. Okay, so for privacy reasons, I'm not going to say the names of any actual people, but I will give them little nicknames. And the first nickname I'm going to tell you is Twig. So Twig is like an 8-year-old kid that I'm not really related to, but he was there, and I had to drive up with him. And Twig, he's a bit of a baby, yeah. So hi Twig, you know who you are if you're watching this. Hopefully you aren't. Okay. But basically, he cried over, on a 2-hour trip, he cried 4 times on the way there. One of the times was because we were in a really small car and my dog was with us. And my dog was laying on top of him, and that was hurting his little legs because he's never had a dog lay on top of him, apparently. And two of the other times were because a tent box was touching his leg, and it apparently, quote unquote, hurt. But both of the times, he never even tried to move it. He just started crying, and he didn't even say why he was crying, and it was super annoying. And what the heck, Twig? Oh, sorry there. And I actually forgot what the fourth reason was about. Oh, right. It was about something that I'm not, allowed to talk about because family and stuff. Yeah. But it was a stupid reason. It's not like some reason that he was like sad or anything. It was a dumb reason. Trust me. Yeah. So, yeah. The second notably bad thing that happened was also because of Twig. Anyways, back to Twig over here. So Twig later, he was late. It was probably like 9 o'clock. It was getting dark. It was pretty dark that day at 9 o'clock. This was in the summertime. But so he was getting late, and this kid Twig, we were all riding our bikes, and Twig, I just hit my mic. Oof. This kid Twig, he was riding his bike, and he decided to go back to camp. So as he was going back to camp, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he was wearing like a robe, like a really long robe, and riding a bike, and anyone who has like a brain cell knows that that's about to get caught up in the tire, and that's exactly what happened. But in his mind, he said, I'll just walk it back to camp. So he kept walking and walking and walking. So as he kept walking, it kept getting more geared up, wrapped up, rolled up in the bike. And we were riding back to camp, and we saw him sitting on the side of the road crying because it was all up in his bike. And we were like, how the heck? And we were trying to get it out, and it was like in there. Oh my God, it was in there. And this really nice kid that I still remember, and I was trying to look for him to say thank you, for the rest of the trip. I think he left that, the next morning, though, before we even woke up, which was like 4 o'clock, so probably not. But anyways, so he was helping, and it took 5 minutes to get it out, and it was real stuck in there, and it was all stuck in there, and it was hard to get out. But he did get it out, and we thanked him, and he was pretty nice. And like I said, I looked for him the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Didn't ever find him, but I wanted to thank him. So, yeah. That night, there was also this kid on a bike, and he just kept circling us. And this was a fairly decent-sized loop, and he would circle us every 30 seconds. He was pretty good at biking. And I did actually get permission to say his name and show this picture of him that's on screen right now. His name's Camden. He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah. He is freakishly tall. Or not freakishly tall. He's tall. He's taller than I was. Everyone's taller than I'm short. But basically, when I first saw him, I thought he was 15. But it turns out he's 12. Well, he was 12 now. I don't know how old he is now. I think he's probably 12 still. But I'm older than him by a couple months. But yeah, and then there was also this other kid, Kale, that was pretty good at bikes. And we basically had this whole friend group thing of some people and stuff. And yeah, we're friends with them, and we just were hanging out for the rest of the days. But at the end of the second night, or near the end of the second day, Twig and this kid named Gray, That's not his real name. This kid, Twig and this kid named Gray got in like a huge fight. Well, it started off as like a play fighting, but then Gray took it to the next level and like was straight up punching and kicking him real hard. And then Gray like picked up a giant stick and hit Twig in the back like really hard. So Twig walked away crying and told everyone. But there was this one kid that was in our friend group. So everyone in the friend group like walked away because like we were not having part of that. We just walked away from all of it. We walked away from Gray and stuff. And then this one other kid from our friend group like didn't walk with us, and we thought that was weird. But apparently she was like telling on us for walking away and telling the person where we were. And so we stopped hanging out with her because we didn't do anything, and she still told on us. But basically, after that, we got yelled at because we apparently supported them when they were, like, fighting and stuff, even though it was, like, adorable because they were just little kids play fighting. Gray was 5, and Twig, I told you, was 8. And they were just play fighting, and it was awesome and hilarious because they, like, didn't know how to fight. But then it wasn't awesome and hilarious when Gray started real fighting and Twig started real fighting. So, yeah. So then we got in trouble, and a couple minutes later we just got in trouble and started biking around again. And it was fine, and everyone forgot about it. I also just realized for the last, couple minutes I haven't been using my mic. It wasn't plugged in, so it was just my phone, and that's embarrassing. So now I'm using my mic, so it probably sounds a lot better. Anyways, on to the next bad thing that happened. So this was the second to last night there. Or no, this was the night before the day that we were leaving. So yeah. So this part is pretty, this is not a good part. This is a terrible part. So basically, we had a fire because we were camping and we're cool people and stuff. And yeah. And there was a log that was like sitting over the fire, but it wasn't catching fire. So my grandma put one end of the log into the fire pit and the other end sticking out of the fire pit, which if you know about fire safety, that's like not good. And Grandma, I love you, but if you're seeing this video, which you're probably not because you probably don't even know what YouTube is, that's not good. I didn't want to say anything then because you're kind of angry and stuff, but that's not good. That I know you don't see how that could cause a fire, but let's just say that log catches fire and then they breaks in half and it falls on the dry ground. Then the forest catches on fire, and that's how forest fires start. That's like how a lot of forest fires start, from fire jumping from logs. But my grandma was doing that, and then these people came over that were coming over, and this one girl, she was triggered. She got this woman got triggered, and she started going off, yelling at my grandma. But yeah, so that happened. Luckily we were leaving the next day, so the stress tensions were kind of bad in the area. So yeah, wow, I can't believe it. My first animation done. This took over a week to make, to draw and everything, and it was hard. And if you guys noticed the little pictures of the butts every time I said butt, if you guys noticed that sometimes when I said the word butt, I didn't put it in there because I didn't notice when I was editing it. So yeah, the next video I make is going to be probably 4 or 5 minutes long because this took me so long to make and draw. But I did have a really great time, and I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you want to like and subscribe and all that good. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.